Audemars Piguet came out with a different kind of blue, but it's not this blue. This is amazing.
It took 2 years.
2 years to come up with this color. Sort of leaves me speechless.
We are the only one who can write pilot on the dial.
I've been doing this 22 years and I did not know that. I don't think anybody has done a ceramic class.
No.
Zenith did a huge turnaround. Guys, I'm super excited for a couple of reasons. Number one, I am at Zenith. 160 years of history of the brand and looking at what the novelties that were brought out this year to celebrate the anniversary. And lucky for me, I'm actually sitting with the head of innovation for Zenith, an engineer rather than a salesperson. So you know me, I love to get technical. First of all, thank you for having me. I wanted to jump into the novelties and get that technical perspective.
Yes, of course, it's a pleasure to release the novelties. It's a very special year, as you said, 160 years. I like to say we are one of the first manufacturers, but do you know we are one of the last where we still work into the same building. It's a new collection, 160 pieces. Lapis lazuli diamond, mother of pearl, but the beauty is on the back.
Oh, you wait. Wow.
You've talked about the El Primero. Maybe you know the caliber 135. That was a caliber not made for a watch, but for competition. And God, does he won a competition, 230 competition, 5 years in a row. It wasn't designed to be in a watch. For example, at the center, there isn't any axis to have more room for the balance wheel. Balance wheel 9 times more inertia than the El Primero. It's a beast. We've had a lot of value added. Anglage, angle montrant, 50 hours of work, the back of the movement.
Sort of leaves me speechless. Again, it's, while at a glance it looks simple, but if you look at the different finishes, if you look at the machine itself, if you look at the dial, you have 4 different textures on the dial itself.
You see the bricks from our manufacturer on the dial, on the buckle, platinum case, platinum buckle, and on the movement as well. It's a new decoration we've made.
160th anniversary, Zenith came out swinging. The platinum piece that they came up with, from the dial to the finishes, award-winning movement that's inside the watch. You take that and take off. Dare I say, you'll find the Zenith to be finished and made better than most of these new and up-and-coming independents.
We have, our designer took 2 years in order to find the right shade of blue. It's the blue in French we call bleu crépuscule. Before, when the sun goes down, before you see the zenith, you have this blue, and that's the shade. So you have our 3 current collection, 1 ceramic model, symbolic one, the Chronomaster Sport, first times in blue ceramic, and it's the first in the watchmaking world. The buckle as well, part of the buckle, the clasp is in ceramic as well.
I don't think anybody has done a ceramic class.
No, I think
it's the first one, yeah. That's amazing. This is crazy. Ceramic has become very mainstream, if you will. People take to the material. Now, oftentimes people will say, oh, well, it's the cool thing, it's the hype thing. But in reality, ceramic is actually a great material. It's very scratch resistant. You have a multitude of companies trying to do ceramic, but it's also not very easy to work with, to be able to execute, especially when we're talking about colors such as this. How long do you say it took to come up with?
It took 2 years.
2 years to come up with this color. I think
when you hit the ceramic, the color changes, and what's difficult is to have the same shade of blue, even it's different size of parts.
2 finishes. You have a high polish finish along with a satin finish on here. I like what you did with the dial. It's not overpowering yet. It does still stand out. It still does show you see that it's a chronograph without overpowering and taking away from the blue of the ceramic. I love the 3 different shades of the blue, 3 different shades of the sub counters. So you have sort of a dark blue, gray, and a light gray.
All 3 symbolic colors.
I think the markers are also not overwhelming. Oftentimes when you get into a watch that is of a color, a colorful watch, if you will, oftentimes it's very difficult to come up with the markers not to take away, and these seem to fit perfectly. And I want to put this on my wrist because the true test is to see comfort level. I can imagine what it will be. I've had plenty of guys and clients saying, oh, what is this? Is this a Daytona or is this a Zenith? And I always tell them the same thing. I said, no, when you look at a Daytona, you should say, what is that? Is that a Zenith? It should be the other way around because we all know who gave birth to that iconic watch. I think you guys knocked that out of the park with this chronograph.
This way.
Well, because it's the truth. Right? You have to know what came first, the chicken or the egg, the old story. And the truth of the matter is, it's Zenith came first, the movement came first, and that's what gave birth to that watch. That's what powered that watch for the longest time. Ask 9 out of 10 collectors, what is the most iconic chronograph in the world? 10 will say it's the El Primero movement. So there's no question about it. And I think you guys knocked it out of the park with this. People tend to underplay, because you mentioned that you wanted to perfect this color, and it took you so many years to do so. People tend to underplay that factor. It takes lots of time in order to create what is perfect and not to what we like to call, what's the word I'm looking for, Nina? Compromise, right? You guys obviously did not want to compromise, and it shows because this is a gorgeous blue. I've seen quite a lot of companies go into ceramic, and they're trying to experiment with different colors. Audemars Piguet came out with a different kind of blue, but it's not this blue. This is amazing.
We have the Defy collection, very old one, which inspired this 12 shape ceramic with the quick change bracelet. That works really well.
So I press a button.
Exactly.
This is amazing. The last 5 years, Julien has done wonders for the brand. He's now moved on to Hublot. I actually had a meeting with him yesterday, and you know,
Yes,
the story is that, you know, the new incoming CEO has big shoes to fill. I personally felt that over the last, I'm going to go back 5 years, over the last 3 years, Zenith did a huge turnaround. And I judge it based on demand. I judge it based on what the consumer says, what the consumer demands. Us personally, and again, we're in the secondary market, we sell pre-owned pieces. I've always said I would love to get as many of these models pre-owned as I could possibly get because they fly off the shelves. And again, you have the right price point, you have the right models, you have the right horology inside of them. Speaking of price points, what are the retail prices on these two? Do you remember?
Yes. That's 22,900 Swiss francs. That's 21,900 Swiss francs. 48,900 Swiss francs. And this is 16,900 Swiss francs.
And if I may see the last novelty.
The Pilot.
I think one of the biggest compliments that your Pilot watch got, I'm going to say maybe 6 or 7 years ago, is when Patek Philippe came out with a Pilot watch that looked exactly like a Zenith watch. And again, it was one of those situations where people would say, oh, that looks like the Patek Pilot. And I would say, no, no, no. The Patek looks like the Zenith Pilot. But this is gorgeous. First of all, extremely legible for somebody with my eyesight who needs glasses to read time. This is extremely legible. I like the new layout. It's simple bicolor, white and blue. Although the dial texture is amazing.
I love this anecdote. Do you know that we are the only one who can write Pilot on the dial?
No, do tell.
Yes, but what's amazing, it was trademarked before the plane was invented.
Interesting. So how did that come about? Now I'm curious.
It's a Pilot for boats, cars.
That's true. You can be a pilot for a car or a boat. So you're still,
And
till this day,
then-
the only company that's
Yes.
able to put Pilot on
Yes.
a watch.
And since then, we are the only one who can put Pilot on a watch.
I've been doing this 22 years and I did not know that. First of all, I want to thank you so much for your time. Again, I got a brief look as I walked through the booth, but having a look up close, touching and feeling. Here's my last test that I love to do, and I'll show you what it is the face test. Because to create a bracelet, especially out of ceramic, it's extremely difficult to ensure that the bracelet is comfortable, the bracelet doesn't catch. And if I do this on my beard, it does not catch. It is perfectly smooth. And I would expect nothing less from this particular bracelet as well. I know it's a little weird, but I think that it's real.
It's sensible.
You know, I do the face test because people often complain about bracelets catching hair on their wrists, bracelets not being comfortable. That's why I tend to do that test. But thank you so much for your time. You guys knocked it out of the park. I'm having a tough time picking a favorite, so I'm going to go with two. Obviously, I'm going to go with the classic chronograph, although I love the Pilots. But I think it's this watch that would be my pick because at the price, again, I don't like mentioning other brands or mentioning other names, the price point where you have this watch based on what you get in terms of engineering, in terms of finishes, in terms of high quality of the case, in terms of the dial, the materials used, I think you definitely knocked it out of the park with this. And if I had to pick a watch to represent 160 years of watchmaking, I think this is the perfect watch. Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it.
My pleasure.
Thank you. I personally cannot wait to see what fresh new perspectives Benoit will bring to the company next year. So for their 161st anniversary, I'm expecting it to go even a step further. Hopefully they'll double up on that dressy line like the platinum timepiece that they did. Other than that, guys, I hope you enjoyed today's video. Like, comment, share, subscribe to all those wonderful things that help this channel grow, and I'll see you in the next one.